Hey, it's Marilyn Devonish here from transformationstm.com, and I have a new product alert for you, a Huna Supersize. Huna is always one of the favorite modalities of my clients. It's also one of my favorites as well. And so to kick off Mental Health Awareness Month, which was started yesterday, I put together a new Huna bundle because there's so much information out there, and it's been all over the place, a webinar here, a teleseminar there. So I decided yesterday to just sit and work on bringing it all together. So that is now done. The beginnings of that is now done. So let me show you the page that you're going to be looking out for. So this is it. It's a mix and a blend of Huna, access consciousness, and some of the energy clearing work as well. So for the pre-launch, which is now, there's a kind of a pre-launch price, and if you join at that price, you've got the opportunity to just do kind of a monthly thing, which at the moment it's £7 a month. You can do the annual, so you book for a year, or you can just do it kind of on a one-off basis. So entirely up to you how you want to do it. And the price you join at is the price that it will remain if you remain a subscriber. But once I change the prices, of course, if you're watching this outside of real time, they'll be different. So that's the page that you're looking for. It is a bit of a long link. So mysoundwise.com/sound and the numbers. So what I will do is I'll put a link to that in the description of this video, and if you're watching this on Facebook, I'll put a link in the comments. What's included in that, and that I'll be adding to this throughout the year, but what we've got at the moment is we've got the guided Huna prosperity ritual MP3, that's 40 minutes running time. We've got the guided chakra energy clearing session, that is 60 minutes. We have got the introduction to Ho'oponopono, wow, which is 2 hours and 50 minutes, basically 3 hours. We've got the moon meditation, which is 1 hour and 30 minutes. We've got the Huna intro teleseminar, which is 1 hour and 35 minutes. We've got the Huna and access consciousness belief change session, which is 1 hour and 35 minutes. This is a good one. We've got the clearing ancestral and genealogical patterns, which is 57 minutes. And we've got the Huna energy regeneration session. I haven't put the time on. I think that one is about 1 hour or thereabouts. So that's what's up at the moment. And I'll be adding to that as we go through the year, so that those of you who are doing the monthly subscription, there'll be new material coming on stream. So that's what has been added so far. In terms of, I think one of the reasons why Huna is one of the favorites, I don't drink, but when I was growing up, there was an advert for a beer company called Heineken. And it said, Heineken refreshes the parts that other beers cannot reach. And I've found that to be true with Huna. So those of you who have joined me for my Huna workshop would have heard me talk about the experience that I had when I was the host and MC for the TCCHE event, the Conference for Consciousness and Human Evolution. And I did probably 3 to 5 minutes of Huna from the stage, just 550 people in the audience. It was phenomenal. I had people coming up for the entire 4 days to share their experiences of what happened with just that tiny little burst of Huna, and everybody got something different. There were people there who said they were so tired, they were thinking of going home, not staying for the conference. Suddenly they're awake and alert. People there with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, all sorts of things. Suddenly they're feeling fine. Woman there with hot flushes disappeared. It was, you name it. You can't even begin to imagine the things that people were coming up and saying. It was just absolutely phenomenal. And that has happened 3 years in a row now. And all I'm doing is 3 to 5 minutes of Huna. And when I first did it, no one even knew who I was or what I was doing. All they knew, there was a woman on stage going and waving her hands about, like, what on earth is this? And it's just been incredible. And that's one of the reasons why people love it, because it's so instantaneous, so fast, and it pretty much has its own intelligence, is the way that I describe it. So that has been absolutely amazing and phenomenal. And that little picture there, that's me on stage with Greg Braden, Joe Dispenza and Dr. Bruce Lipton at the TCCHE. It's fantastic. It really does work in the most mysterious of ways. This, again, in terms of some of my workshops, there was one of my clients, I didn't know this, but she was on one of my workshops. I was just doing a bit of Huna for the fun of it in one of the breaks, etc. And then her husband said, you know, tell Marilyn what's happened. And she had not been able to move her arm. She had a frozen shoulder and had had it for 18 months at that point. So a year and a half. I did a couple of minutes of Huna, and she went and just put her arm straight up in the air, which is just fantastic. So often get those sorts of things happening for people as well. When I've run the Huna workshop, and I'll look at possibly seeing if I can get some extracts of that into this program as well, because these are MP3 recordings that we're talking about here. But these are the sorts of things that people have said about learning about Huna and experiencing it. So insightful, energetic, exciting, revealing, practical, impactful, value, resourceful, excellent, powerful, deep, unmissable, inspiring, clearing, magical, comprehensive. So people always have a really fantastic experience of the Huna, and they always have unexpected things happening as well. So this was from one of my clients who did a photo reading workshop. Now, you come to photo reading, you're expecting that you're going to learn to read at 20. Well, people just expect to read faster, and then discover it's about reading at 25,000 words per minute, photo reading a whole book in 5 minutes, and being able to remember and recall what you've read. What they don't necessarily expect is high level transformation, which is what we get. And we do this on the Friday night, because I do a 1 hour bonus Huna session on the Friday night of the photo reading. And this was one of my photo reading attendees after that Friday night session, where I just do a couple of minutes, you know, just a minute or two with each person. I'm going around the room saying, what do you need? Do you want to be energized, calm things down, fire things up, whatever it is. And this is what she said as a result of just that couple of minutes of Huna. So she said, talk about grabbing the bull by the horns. When you did the Huna healing on me, oh my God, exclamation mark, I couldn't believe how accurate your diagnosis was. In brackets, you didn't tell me you were a doctor, as well as everything else. And one of the things that happened with this particular client, I had picked up on stuff that I couldn't possibly have known. And also her daughter was there. And what was interesting about that, because it was in the room, because I do it on the Friday evening, and this was the time of year, it's kind of dark at that time. I also turn down the lights, so I just have the front spotlights on, and people sit with their eyes closed, and I'll go around and do a bit of Huna for each person. And I remember doing something with her daughter, and for some reason, I don't know why, I was drawn to work on around her back and her shoulder, and did the Huna, moved on to the next person. She said at the end, she said, because she's got really big dogs. Some of you might know Suki Wahiwala. It was his daughter, and they got some big guard dogs. And she'd been out running the dogs. The dog had spotted something, pulled on the leash, and yanked her shoulder out. But you wouldn't have known just to kind of look at her. And she then said, you know, while you were standing by me, I felt this waterfall. And what she was describing is I had used the symbol for basically the waterfall, which she would have had no idea about. Then I used a kind of triangle on her shoulder, and it was a heat. And she said, and then I felt this intense heat in my shoulder. And she described what she felt, which is exactly what I'd done, standing behind her with her eyes closed in the dark. And then she said, and my shoulder feels better now. So had some really crazy cool stuff happen. And I think one of the most, it happens a lot. That's happened on the TCCHE as well. People were coming and saying, well, when you started, I felt this. And then, and they're describing the order and sequence that I did things in. So it's always a bit mind blowing. And some of you might have heard me talk about the lovely Pippa Neve, who is a therapist out in Australia. And this was probably about 5 or so years ago. I was testing out a process. So I went to my e-newsletter list. I said, I'm looking for volunteers, test it out, give me feedback. Pippa couldn't make it live because of the time difference between the United Kingdom and Australia. So she listened to the MP3 recording a couple of days later. So just the recording. And this recording, if it's not up there yet, it will be included. And then she sent an email describing what had happened. It wasn't until last year when I was running a 10-part Raising Your Money Vibration video webinar series, and people were asking, well, what happens if I can't make it live and you're doing the energy clearings, will it still work? And I said, look, I've got the perfect example for you. And I shared this email from Pippa with her permission. And as I was reading it last year, I suddenly realized 4 years down the line that the order and sequence with which Pippa had described how she felt was the order and sequence in which I've been doing the Huna. She would have had no idea. It was a teleseminar. So I used my telephone headset. So people were just listening. And even if you were a Huna practitioner, and I went, you got no idea what symbol I just did. So there's no hope of someone who doesn't know anything about Huna deciphering it either. And it wasn't until I was reading it last year and I was like, oh my God, because she starts off saying initially my third eye, throat and heart center and solar plexus felt compressed. What she would not have known is the first symbol I used was something where the literal translation is thunder comes down and strikes the earth and makes the earth shake. And if people are quite sensitive to energy, they feel it as a pushback. She then says, it was uncomfortable to say the least. After the first round of Huna, I sensed the image of a triangle of fire. What she would not have known is what I did next is I did a red triangle, which is a fire energy to burn away, because my idea was let's shake things up and then let's burn this away. So she would have had no idea what I was doing, but she sensed the red triangle, listening to an audio recording, which will be included in the package bundle. She then says, during and after the second round, I felt pain being drawn out of my body by my heart center. What she wouldn't have known is I did a symbol where you open up the heart center. And then I did a process that if you've done a soul plan reading or a soul core issue therapy session, we may have done what you call the sword fingers thing. So opened up the heart space and then pulling the stuck energy out of that. Again, she would have had no idea what I was doing. She then said, I slowly began to feel lighter and my heart center opened more than previously. And I felt like I was glowing from the inside out. And as I'm typing this phrase, as if the light of my soul is now able to shine through my heart center. What she wouldn't have known is that I did a symbol at that point, having cleared the heart energy and the kind of solar plexus and the chakras. I did a symbol where part of the translation is the wave of light that makes you gasp. And if I show you the symbol, I showed it to people today on the Magic and Gratitude video webinar workshop. It's light that's emanating, and the idea of that is it emanates from the inside out. And so and then she said that, and then the third round gave me a sense that my heart center is expanding into the universe, and I have a sense of feeling more open and totally cleared of the blocks. Just crazy. And that was just listening to an MP3 recording, not even being there live. So all of these recordings are included in the bundle. And again, some of you might have heard me talk about the things that I've done with clients in terms of telephone sessions. And this is, some of you might know the wonderful Loy. And he had been recommended by one of my clients who had done some Huna, had the most incredible, miraculous transformations and things happen both with him and his family, and situations that were going on around him. So he recommended that Lack could give me a call. We did some Huna over the phone, and the issue was here that he had been out of contract for 9 months. And so just wanted to do some work to unblock that. So we did some Huna over the phone. He then, did the thing. A couple of days later, phoned up. What my clients always say, Marilyn, you are not going to believe this. I'm like, go on then, surprise me. And I always know what they're going to say. And then contract, just out of the blue, a contract that had been, as he put it, dead in the water, suddenly resurrected. Can you start tomorrow? This was several years ago now. Lack has been, if you know Lack, you'll know he's been busy and in contract ever since. And I also had one of my clients who's in my membership group. We did a Skype session, very same thing. I don't know what it is about the 9 months, but she had been out of contract for 9 months as well. Did the Huna session. A couple of days later, got a message via Facebook Messenger saying, Marilyn, I've got a problem. I was like, oh. So I opened the message, I scroll up, I said, what's happened? She says, I've just been offered 2 jobs, having been out of work for 9 months, got interviews, never made it to that final stage. She said, I've been offered 2 jobs. My problem is I don't know which one to take. So, it does work in the most mysterious of ways. And Lack has said, because I said to Lack, are you okay for me to share this testimony? He's like, yeah, sure. And he says, you're not going to believe this. When he phoned me up, there was a block. Now it's gone. You have an amazing ability, and it is having miraculous effects. And so, and I always say, look, I can't guarantee what's going to happen for someone when we do the Huna. The one thing I do know is that miraculous things happen. And last year, And I was sharing with the group a couple of days ago that when I ran the Raising Your Money Vibration program, what I decided to do when I was designing it, before I had launched it, I decided to Huna the program. Just nobody had signed up, hadn't launched it, done nothing. So I've got the mind map, I've typed up the outline, I know the day that I want to launch, and I sit and I Huna the program. Sent it out, launched it. Someone signed up, sent me an email saying, Marilyn, did you do something to the program before we started? Because a revenue stream that had completely dried up has just opened up and money's coming in. Now, this was a Raising Your Money Vibration program. So I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Well done. Brilliant. Interesting. Hadn't started yet. Someone else signed up. She sends me an email. Marilyn, did you Huna and energize the program before we started? She said, I made a decision before I went to bed last night. I was going to sign up. Signed up this morning. Been for an interview. Just got a much better job with more money. Did you do something to the program? So now I'm kind of sitting up and being going, oh, this is interesting. Third person signs up. He sends me an email and he's very specific. He says, Marilyn, did you Huna the program before we started? Because I've just signed up, landed a deal, which when it comes to fruition is going to be multiple six figures. At that point, I was saying to the Magic and Gratitude webinar group today, I've got a 3 times convincer. So first time, it's just kind of interesting. Second time, I'm like, oh, that's cool. Third time, and these people don't know each other, completely independent, never met. We hadn't started the program yet. All I'd done is a pre-launch for my e-newsletter list, and that's the experience people had. So the energy definitely travels. Some of you might know Cindy. I was in her Energize group. I did a talk for them in terms of Huna this week. And she was saying on the webinar, she says, Marilyn, I felt things happening before we even started. And the feedback on that, we did a Facebook Live. Just incredible, just incredible. It almost is like, I don't know if I've got it here actually, if I can find it quickly, because I said to Cindy, can I share what you've said? She went, yeah, sure. Let me just see if I can find it. If I can find it quickly, I'll read it. If not, it's in Messenger somewhere. Let's see. So yeah, so the day after we did the Facebook Live, she says, Marilyn, I am still feeling the effects. I am so happy and balanced. I can't wait for the rest of our Soul Gang community to experience this process. Thank you. And that's the sort of thing that happens all the time. Just fantastic, amazing, amazing. So if you would like to take part and experience this, MP3 recordings, all online. All you need to do is sign up. So that's the list of what you get. This is the page that you're looking for so that you know you're on the right page. And if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you can see what's there. And each time I add an MP3 recording, it appears on that running list. Some of it is available. I'll put a couple up as well that you can listen to without having to sign up, without having to subscribe or anything like that. So there are some recordings that you can just listen to straight away. And then once you sign up, the material is there. Some of it is being released on a time basis because, of course, people can subscribe monthly. So we want to do some timed releases. But there are a couple that you can listen to straight away as well. So I will put the link in the description of this video. If you're watching this on YouTube, I'll put it into the comments if you're watching this on Facebook. And yeah, if you like Huna or you've never experienced it and you've heard me talking about it, then I would encourage you to absolutely sign up. As I said, we started a price point for the pre-launch, given what's going on with the environment. So if you're joining at the £7 a month, that's what it will always be, as long as you're a subscriber. If you're joining later, it will be much more in alignment with what the price will be and what it would have been had we not been in this very unique situation. So, check it out. I highly recommend it, even though I say so myself. And if you've got any questions, if you've got any queries, drop me an email. It's Marilyn, MARILYN @transformationstm.com. And that's TRANCE F for Freddie, so FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark, so Marilyn at transformationstm.com. My main website is transformationstm.com. What I will do probably tomorrow, if you go to my website, there's a red button at the top that says what's new. If you click on the what's new, a panel, if you're on a PC, slides out from the right hand side, and what I'll do is I'll also add a link to the Soundcast so you can sign up from there as well. So that's how you can kind of find a bit more information. And also for those who are asking me if I was doing any deals on coaching, etc., what I've done is I've reinstated the deal that I did for my e-newsletter list in December, where I brought out some gift vouchers, and you get £60 off the face value of those. So instead of 150, then £90, where that will still get you your full hour. Or you can put that towards whatever you want: soul plan reading, future life progression, a Huna and access consciousness session. You can even put it towards the photo reading, both the in-person workshops and the online video webinar version. So whatever the products or services are that I use, you can use the gift voucher to put it towards those. So I'll leave those kind of active for a bit longer. And again, I'll put the link for that underneath the video. And also what I've done with a few of my most popular services, including the photo reading, is I've put an offer page together. So that's going to be live for the next couple of weeks. So you can go in and choose your package, whatever it is you want to do, whether it is the Huna, the photo reading. I think I've done also an offer on the tarot reading for that as well. And all of the sessions are done via telephone, Skype, or my online video webinar meeting room. And I've been doing coaching and therapy sessions and training sessions online since 2005. So everything has been tried and tested to make sure it's fit for purpose and that it translates over in terms of the online world. It hasn't just been a quick rush job because of what's happening in the current environment. It's something I've been doing for almost 2 decades now in terms of working online and doing sessions online. So check that page out as well. I'll also add a link to that in the comments or underneath the video on YouTube if you wanted to take part in that while those offers are available for those who have been impacted by what's going on with the COVID-19 lockdown, etc., etc. So yeah, that's it really. And also one of the things that I'm definitely focusing on more is doing something that I've been doing since 2003. So a long time, which is working as a flexible working implementation consultant, which means going into organizations to help them implement smart and remote and flexible working policies and strategies, and also corporate training, doing all of that online as well. So one of the things I'm going to be looking for is organizations who now realize that, you know, staff, you know, one of your biggest resources is your staff, your human assets, your human capital. And a lot of people are going a little bit stir crazy, climbing the walls, because the working from home, remote working isn't all it's cracked up to be. There is definitely an art and a science to doing it well. So if you know of any organizations who are now in the position where they're wanting to provide training for staff, or they're wanting to provide some sort of support, executive coaching, or doing work and briefing sessions around remote working and strategies for remote working and how you can do that effectively, please get in touch or give them my details, because all of the infrastructure for delivering those trainings remotely online via video webinar, all of that is in place and has been for many years. The platform I'm using now, I love it. I've been using that one for about 2 years and started doing online trainings back in 2016 in terms of 1 to 3 day training. So please feel free to pass on my details if you know of any organizations who are in the market for that. And, you know, I can have up to, I think it's up to 1,000 people on my webinar platform, and it's not Zoom, it's a secure platform, and I can have up to 100,000 people on the Expo platform. So it's not a numbers thing, and I'm sure most organizations wouldn't be training that many people at one time anyway, but if they were, the capacity is there to do that. So feel free to pass my details on with regards to that. Cool. Well, thank you all for watching. I hope you've had a fabulous day, and thank you to everyone who joined me for the Magic and Gratitude video webinar workshop today. Absolutely loved it. The recording is now ready. So what I'm going to do before I leave my desk, it's been a long day. I've been at my desk since 11 a.m., which is when we started the webinar, and it's now coming up to 11 p.m. That's 12 hours. So what I'll do before I leave my desk tonight, I'm going to hit the replay render button. So that'll be landing in your email inbox about 5 minutes from now. So if you couldn't make it live, you can watch the video replay. And for those of you who did make it live, if you want to revisit the material or take yourself through any of the clearing processes, that will be in your email inbox in a few minutes. So cool. Anyway, thank you for watching. I will catch you all later. And if you're going to partake in the Huna, enjoy, notice what you notice, and let me know how you get on.